Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Coming to you again. Tonight, I'm going to be talking about the history of Ahmadiyya in Dutch colonies, right? Starting off with Indonesia, then Suriname, South America, which is South America, and then the Netherlands, which the Dutch are from the Netherlands, also called Holland. So here we go. So here's my report. It seems that in 1920, Khawaja Kamaluddin was invited by the Dutch Empire to Indonesia, to the East Indies. Indonesia was called the East Indies, and South America, the Caribbean, Suriname, Dutch Guyana, whatever you want to call it, that's the West Indies. So Khawaja Kamaluddin, out of nowhere, gets goes to Indonesia, and that didn't really happen because it's a different colony. So Khawaja Kamaluddin, who was a Lahori Ahmadi at the time, he went around the British Empire mostly. He never went outside the British Empire, not normally. He would need a visa, so he goes to Indonesia, and then all of a sudden, in 1923, out of nowhere, the Indonesian government sends the Dutch send four Indonesians to Qadian. They ask the British government for a visa, and they send these guys to Qadian to get trained as missionaries and come back because they have a huge Muslim population in Indonesia, and they want to convert them. Something fishy going on here in the 1920s. Um, um, so that's how it starts off. In 1924, the Lahoris sent three missionaries. Their most famous guy is Mirza Wali Ahmed Beg, right? So the Qadianis are there, the Lahoris are there. I think they're working different sides of Sumatra or Java, the different sides of the island. So around that same time, Ahmadiyya in Suriname or Dutch Guyana, the Lahori Ahmadis showed up there, right? But their mosque didn't get opened in the 1920s. It ended up being opened in like the 1980s. The Qadiani Ahmadis ended up showing up also, right? And by 2020 in Suriname, there's one Qadiani Imam, Lake Ahmed Mushtaq, and there was another guy there in 1994, right? So that's how it sort of started. Was in Indonesia, the Dutch wanted some Ahmadiyya in their country, right? So as of 2021, we estimate 5,000 Ahmadis in Indonesia, not more than that. I linked my essays in the description. Read my essay on Ahmadiyya in Indonesia. I've listed every place of worship. They don't have that many, barely like 10 to 15 in Indonesia, right? And most of those are closed. They've been closed by the government, right? And the Lahori Ahmadis have totally failed. There's maybe not even 100 Lahori Ahmadis left. Okay, so yeah, Ahmadiyya was so much liked by the Dutch. The Dutch invited them to South America. They said, "Hey, come to our other colonies," right? So, very interesting fact here that the first Indonesian president, 1947, this guy took over. Let me just pull his name real quick. Oh, and we have a comment. Thank you, sir. So, all right, let me pull this guy's name. The first president of Indonesia. Well, his teacher was Mirza Wali Ahmed Beg, the Lahori Ahmadi, and his name was Sukarno. So this is interesting. He seems to have been a puppet dictator and groomed by by Lahori Ahmadis, and the Qadianis were fast friends with him too. So so that's sort of how they got their start in Indonesia, right? And then they took over a mosque in Indonesia, a few mosques. In 1948, they built their first mosque or place of worship. So okay, that's sort of the story in Indonesia. In Suriname, they were already there. There's only two Qadiani places of worship in Suriname, whereas there's like 7 or 8 Lahori Ahmadi places of worship in Suriname. So that's sort of the story. The Khalifa visited Suriname in 1991. He also visited Indonesia. This is Mirza Tahir Ahmed. When did he visit Indonesia? It seems like the first ever time a Khalifa visited, it was 2000, in the year 2000, and he opened Masjid Batul Mujib. Okay, so then how did they get into the Netherlands, right? That's the big question. So in the Netherlands, after Indonesia, after Suriname, they were invited after World War II, 1947, to come to the Netherlands. And in fact, that they had sent the missionaries from London. A few of them had went over. They even claimed that Mufti Muhammad Sadiq married a white woman from Holland. So it's real tricky what these guys did. We estimate barely maybe 500 to 1,000 Ahmadis in Suriname, not more than that, and dying fast, and dying fast. And in Holland or the Netherlands, we estimate maybe 1,500 at the most, maybe 500. I mean, maybe it is 500 to 1,500, men, women, and children. So this is sort of the history of Ahmadiyya in the Dutch colonies, in the Netherlands, Suriname, Indonesia. That's how it all started. I've given you all the numbers. The essays are in the below. Feel free to check that out. And if you have any questions, let me know. That's basically my research report on the history of Ahmadiyya in Indonesia, Suriname, the Netherlands, etc., etc. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and peace out.